Hi, everyone. Welcome to Empowered with Gina. Today is a very special day because it is our love special. It is our Valentine's Day special. And I thought there would be no one better to interview for this special other than a dating coach and a therapist. Legitimate, okay? So let me introduce to you she's my dear friend and walking partner and all around inspo, Bree Jenkins.
So happy to be here.
Everyone, it's Bree.
Hi.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Hi, Bree.
Hello. I'm
friend.
excited to have this conversation.
I'm excited to look at you this whole time. Look at you.
Thank you. I mean, we always give each other the fashion vibes, right?
I love it. I love it. All of it. Okay, I start off the podcast always. 3 adjectives to describe yourself.
Oh, 3 adjectives to describe myself. Dynamic, powerful, fabulous.
Oh my God, yes, you are. Where did Bree grow up? What was your childhood like?
I grew up in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Hey.
Okay, Southern girl.
Hey.
Southern girl. My childhood actually was quite happy. My parents have been married for, I think, 47 years now. I grew up with my sister and brother on the West Bank in New Orleans. And eventually we moved to Mississippi when I was in high school. That was not the highlight. That was not the highlight of my childhood, but I was there for a few years. I went to college in New Orleans. I went through Hurricane Katrina, and that's kind of how I wound up here in Los Angeles. I lost all my stuff.
What do you mean?
Katrina.
I didn't know this about you.
Yes, I lost my apartment, my car, my job, and my best friend is actually from Los Angeles. Thank you, Griselda. My best friend is from Los Angeles, and I wound up living with her and her family for 6 months, going to Cal State, LA.
Stop.
Yes, and I heard about Pepperdine, and then I wind up applying and getting accepted, and then I've kind of been out here since grad school.
So Katrina forced you out here. You had
Yes.
no dreams, aspirations. I'm moving to Hollywood.
No. The thing is like tragedy or trauma is always an opportunity if you use it the right way. So I always say, like, I make diamonds out of pressure. So I wound up out here, made the most of it. I became a therapist, and I've been out here ever since. Got into coaching, and I love it. I met my husband out here. Like, my whole life is out here.
I mean,
But my roots.
Okay, and that was such a quick flyover of your past
Mm-hmm.
because you're like, oh yeah, Katrina happened. I moved to Los Angeles and became a therapist.
Yep.
But literally, that's
Yeah,
it.
that's what happened.
You know?
Yeah.
And okay, and the whole empowerment conversation that I've started is leaning into and highlighting people who have not dwelt on their past, have not dwelt on the horrible stack of cards life has given them, because everyone has their journey, everyone has their thing. But we aren't victims. We aren't, life happens to us, not for us. And one of the biggest parts of anyone's life is their love life, are their relationships.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And you can see a reflection of a person by who they hang out with, the kind of people they date, who they're attracted, the kind, what do they say? My type is.
Yeah.
I used to be that way. I used to say that. And so that's
Right.
why I'm like, I roll my eyes at my old me and I'm like, girl, you have no idea what you're talking about. So, I mean, there are so many things to talk about in relationships. What would you say would be your maybe top pointers for people? And it doesn't matter if you're single. That's what the thing here.
Yes.
A relationship is a marriage,
Yes.
dating,
Yes.
single with friendships, situationships.
Yes.
What would be one of the top 3 pointers for anyone seeking a healthy, balanced relationship?
Yes. For anyone seeking a healthy, balanced relationship, never stop working on yourself.
But isn't the other person supposed to make you happy?
No. No, they'll add to your happiness, but the happiness has to already be there. Because if you're always chasing happiness outside of yourself, you're never going to truly feel joy, contentment, happiness. Not that we're always going to always feel happy, because that's another misconception.
Yes.
Right? That's like our inner child. Like, I always need to be happy. No, you
No.
don't. You don't always need to be joyful, happy, but you should practice gratitude and contentment, right? And there will be so many moments of happiness and joy that you can acknowledge. But if you don't work on yourself, that is the quickest way to either stay alone because you have so many things that are weighing you down that other people really don't want to deal with. Or when you get in a marriage or relationship, you know how people start saying, like, this is who I am. This is who I am. You just have to deal with it. And it's like, no, you have a duty to take care of yourself, to work on yourself, to heal yourself, to level up yourself. And if you're not doing that, then the relationship is going to meet a crossroads where the other person is going to say, I can't do it anymore.
Or they stick it out and hate each other for years and years and years because of the kids.
I have a lot of that going on.
And the resentment. And it's a horrible existence.
Yes.
It's torture.
Yeah.
Okay, so number one, always stay consistent to loving and taking care of yourself.
Yes.
What's another tip?
Stay consistent to loving and taking care of yourself. Learn how to love people the way that they need to be loved.
What does that mean?
It means that if you really want a healthy relationship, sometimes I always say, like, we have our own innate love languages, and we probably get with people that match maybe our first love language, right? But maybe the second doesn't match, right? So I may be gifts and he may be acts of service, and maybe my second is acts of service. So we mesh on that part. But sometimes the person that we're supposed to be with needs us to go that extra mile to show them love the way that they need to be loved. And I think that's the stretch part, because so many people are, again, this is just who I am, but it's like you need to sometimes show up for people in a meaningful way that they interpret love best. And it shouldn't be anything crazy. It's just like that extra effort, right? So if your husband knows that you love words of affirmation, he could just say, you look so beautiful, I love you. He can say it more. And then your love cup is full.
So happy.
Yes. So that's a big piece.
And this is interesting because I didn't know about love languages until I was maybe in college. That concept was foreign to me. I never heard of it. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I think without understanding truly what love languages are and looking at, like, really analyzing, well, again, pouring into yourself, what is my love language?
Yes.
Maybe this is why I keep dating the same type or dead end relationship. You don't even understand what the fuck you want.
Yes.
What are some love language types?
Yes. So we have words of affirmation. That's if you really love praise, compliments. Look, you just lit up like, yes, right. And of course, I would of course guess that your words of affirmation because you empower people. So you use your words to show love to people, right? There's gifts. I'm definitely a gifts girl.
I love gifts too. Michael.
Hint, hint, Sean, right? Gifts is definitely a love language. Quality time, like not just spending time with someone, but the value of that time. So having their attention, doing things together.
Okay.
Quality time. Acts of service. So a lot of people's, like, the way their parents may have showed them love. It's like they cooked for them, they cleaned for them, they organized things for them. That was a love. And then physical touch. So kissing, hugging, having sex, all those things. Cuddles, physical touch. So it's so important to know your love language and your partner's love language because it will strengthen the relationship. It even works with friends too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Like the friend who is a gift person, don't not get them a gift. You know what I mean? Like they need that to feel the love. So get it for them. Or if they need quality time, make sure that you carve out some time to spend with them.
Instead of trying to force them into your love language box, like, well, I don't think they should get gifts because that's silly. That doesn't express love. Well, to them, clearly getting a little treat speaks to them.
Yes.
And this is where I think one of the many reasons I think a dating love coach like yourself is extremely important because you offer that outside perspective. It's difficult to figure out what my love language is. We have so much going on.
Yes, we do.
And some people understand theirs better than others, and some don't even know where to start. This is where a third party advisor, you get a tax advisor, you get a accountant, you get a banker. Why? Because they know that's their specialty. This is what a dating coach, a love coach does.
Yes.
Again, and you can be married. You can be single. You can be in a great relationship, not defined. This is all still worth investing in because it's you.
Yes.
Right?
And your relationship is where you spend so much of your time. You derive a lot of your, happiness, and you spend so much time and investment in it. Why would you be stingy with that? The person that you marry is one of the most important decisions that you can make. So you better be sure that you've gone through and really understood, like, your needs, who you are, what you need in a relationship, and also get that check-in for the partner too. It's just something like, I don't understand why people don't invest in this more. I always talk to singles about, like, so many people are living under the Disney fairy tale, right?
That.
Like, we have these badass bitches who are powerful. They're go-getters.
Snatched.
They're doing everything. They are on it. But when it comes to love, they're like, he'll just find me. Right?
And then I can really live.
Right.
And then I'll be happy.
You don't show up anywhere else in your life like that. You like show up with intention and
Pisses me off.
you learn things, and you hire a coach, you hire a business coach, you hire a tax attorney, you tie all these things because they know more than you and you want to be good in this area. When it comes to love, that's the part that's just supposed to magically fall into place. And it doesn't a lot of times, which is why I work with like so many single successful women to give them those results.
Wonderful. And you do have results.
Oh,
I have
yes.
seen your results.
Yes.
Like she has the receipts to back up everything she claims. Your success rate is very high with the people that you match
we
up.
have in our course, we have a 75% success rate for people who complete the course and do the work of getting in a relationship. Last year, we had 6 engagements. Oh. We have so many brides. I mean, just rings,
yes,
diamonds.
Right?
Diamonds. That's why it's the Diamond Dating League. You want the diamond? You got to get in the Diamond Dating League. You know what I mean?
Okay. You want it, you need to become it, and you need to hang around it, and you need to be influenced by it.
Absolutely.
You'll have Bree's contact, don't worry. Okay, as a single professional woman, which neither one of us are, we are professional, successful, married women, but we were at one point single.
Absolutely.
We didn't date in the virtual world though, and now I understand there is a virtual dating fatigue that's happening.
Yes.
Because of this whole dating app, and I couldn't even imagine, like, I don't even know the names of them. What is happening that you see as far as trends in the dating fatigue world, virtual dating fatigue world, and what are some solutions?
Yeah, so I tell people that you do need to do online dating because a good, well-rounded dating plan is a combination of both.
What if people say, I don't do that?
Okay, but if you wanted a job, would you just say, I only talk to people in person? I only network? No, you get on Indeed.com and the other popular websites, and you just put your resume out there, right? So online dating produces about 40% of couples now. So you don't want to leave 40% of your chance on the table. You do need to learn how to do it properly, though. A lot of the reasons why people have dating fatigue when it comes to online dating is that just like anything else on our phone, they're like over consuming. They're on the phone all the time. They're getting all annoyed and stuff. And so part of what we do in my, program and when I work with people is teach them how to do this from a much more relaxed, comfortable place with a much higher success rate of getting dates, eligible dates, right? Because we don't want to go on these busted dates.
No, waste of time.
That's a lot of what is happening. First off, when I check people's profiles.
So, okay, when you get a client, you first check their.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. I check their profiles. I talk to their friends and family for feedback because you're not just going to tell me what's going on. I need to know what's really happening. Sometimes the friends come with the juice, right? They're like, oh, I date this type. And the friend's like, she keeps attracting these people. She never lets them go, right? So I get the real feedback of what's actually going on.
That's so smart.
So that we can actually fix it.
The girlfriends will tell you. I've been telling her.
Yes. I see the dating profiles, the pictures that people think like, oh, this was showing that I was funny. And really, it's just like goofy and immature. Or they say like, oh, I thought that this shows that I'm into running. But it's like, don't pick the marathon picture where you're like covered in sweat and everything. You can pick the one where you're holding the medal, So just those fine tweaks.
Interesting.
Right? Between the bio and how you do the messaging, all of those things really matter because with online dating, this is a computer that we're trying to create romance from. We don't have any of the information that we have when we meet someone at a bar. They're looking at us. We're looking at them. You can smell them, see how tall they are, and talk to them. Hey. And, get all that additional information. None of that happens online. We see some pictures, and we're basically talking to a screen. So it's a different process that people really need the education behind to do it very successfully.
Okay. Yes. Then, so you do encourage staying on the dating apps,
yes,
but
not more than 2 apps. Not more than 2 apps.
And intentionally and correctly done, which you can help them develop.
Correct.
Okay. Then, what about those people? I'm not just going to say women. People that say, "Well, you know how it is to date in LA. You know how it is. They lump and generalize. It's so hard out there. You don't know what it's like out there, girl."
So one of my favorite things is one, I met my husband in LA. I dated in LA.
Me
Dated in
too.
LA. I did online dating. Those statements, those are safety blanket statements. Those are safety blanket statements that are keeping you with the same results that you have. It's negative mindset and you have to fix it.
So it's your fault. It's your problem, not fault. It's your problem
Yes.
that the men are like that out there. That which is not real is what we're saying.
Here's the thing. Are there men out there that are ineligible? Absolutely. There's
Everywhere.
women out there that are ineligible. There's people out there that's ineligible.
Everywhere.
But there's also eligible people. And so if you want to focus your attention on what you don't want, that's what you're going to keep getting. That's what you're going to keep getting. Right? If you tell yourself all day, it's so hard out here, everyone's underpaying, it's hard to get jobs. Do you really think you're going to land a great job with great benefits and excellent salary? No, because you've convinced yourself that there's a bunch of crap. So when you look and you see one or two things that you don't like, you get exhausted and you stop trying, right? And you don't even have the right vibrational energy to attract that type of job.
Right.
If I was hiring someone who's complaining about work all day, I'm not thinking I'm going to hire them. Right? So if you're always complaining about dating, it's kind of like you're entrenching yourself in this really negative energy around love, and it's going to be really hard to attract this great potential candidate from a bunch of complaints. So you asked me what the top 3 things were. The third thing is work on your mindset. Mindset work never stops. Never stops. The way that we talk to ourselves, talk about ourselves, what we say about our reality, it really shapes it. Gosh. It's one of the first things I cut. I like tell my diamonds immediately, no more man bashing, no more following a bunch of accounts that show raggedy relationships and, terrible podcast advice. Cut it out because you're just filling yourself on toxic garbage. And it's just going to make it so much harder for you to show up, high vibrational and very intentional in your love life. And that was one of the things that I changed before I met my husband.
What?
Oh, I stopped saying that there were no good men.
You said it.
Yeah, I was like, all I attract is the most gathered men. When people would ask me what my type was, I'd say gathered.
Gathered. Hashtag it.
Gathered. When they're like, what does that mean? It means they have themselves together. That was the basis of even if I was even going to deal with you. They have themselves together because I'm not going to even lower my standards below that basic kind of threshold. And then from there, we can get into all the other things. But I worked on my mindset and I was like, there's so many. Los Angeles is like, what, 20 million people, 16 million people, something like that? You think that there are no good men in 20 million people? Please.
We found 2 of them.
We found 2 of them. I have diamonds on diamonds on diamonds getting married. So many of my clients are in Los Angeles finding these men that allegedly aren't there, but they're here.
Because they worked on themselves. They focused on them first.
Yes.
Okay. And then I feel like you said something. I think there's a disconnect with changing your mindset, this, that, the other. But then people will look at you immediately, the ones that are very much in that ingrained victim mode mindset. Oh, yeah. But I mean, it's not easy for me.
Okay. That's fine. Everything doesn't have to be easy. You have to learn how to do something that's hard until it becomes easy.
Oh, my God.
We can do hard things. You can have it's hard for me. That's fine. There's things that are hard for me. I still have to do them.
What do you tell the person who stays with that dead end type relationship where the person that they're with or want to be with, we know they're not gathered. Everyone outside sees they're not gathered, but that person seemingly is desperate for either companionship, attention, love, which understandably people want love.
Yes.
What do you say to that person?
I say work on your trauma and work with a professional to help you unravel why you keep settling for pain and settling for less than you deserve. Because I can't convince you of what you deserve. You have to act that out. Some people say, like, I always say there's a difference between you have, standards and you have preferences. When you actually have standards, you don't go below them. Wow. When you have a preference, if you don't have your preference, you'll take it.
Sure.
If I'm a vegetarian and they don't have a vegetarian meal, I'm not going to eat it. But if I prefer a vegetarian meal, what am I going to do? Fine, give me a chicken, right? Give me chicken fine, I'll eat it. Exactly. It's not really a standard. It's a preference. So you really need to work on what, you can say whatever you want, but the actions is what speaks volumes. And if there's a disconnect between what you want and what you're doing, there's something there that's keeping you stuck. You need to figure out what that is. Is it your childhood? Is it you're trying to relive your parents' relationship? Are you trying to fix something from the first person that broke your heart? You have to figure that piece out. And then you have to do the work to show up differently. And that is intentional. I don't want to say that it's super easy, because it's not
easy.
But the reward, it's worth it.
So good.
It's worth it.
And then so begging that person to come back, tolerating their, the common thing, they break up to make up, to break up to make up. I'm sorry, you come back with gifts and love and attention, and then they cheat on you again and again, or are not honoring you how you need to be honored.
You're the only person.
Is it that person's fault that they keep doing that to you?
Well, it's your fault if you keep allowing them back in your life to re-experience it.
Okay.
Right? Because you are the person that gets to hold the boundaries on who has access to your time. I can't decide that for you. You have that power. So for me, I really try to be very protective of people not wasting my time. When I tell people, my rate is X amount of dollars an hour, what do I look like talking to somebody for free who don't want to listen to my advice? It's looking like, is it really that much? Because you're over here talking forever to somebody who doesn't want to listen. So it's like, again, you have to back up that action of, if you really don't deserve this, then don't settle for it.
Wow. And that doesn't feel good to walk away.
No, it does not. You may have conflict with that, but you have to trust that you are moving towards your higher self and that you are making space for the right type of person, right? The universe can't send you something if the little placeholder is there, taking up all your time and energy. And I think sometimes people really lie to themselves about how much emotional energy these kind of dead-end relationships take. Sometimes people tell me like, well, I'd rather keep them around and not be alone than like have nothing. But that person really is dimming your light. You're not happy. You're not searching. You're not out there vibrating high. It's just let it go. Let it go.
They're taking up the space for someone that could come in.
Yes.
How's something good going to come in if you have this, dead weight hanging around because you don't want to be lonely?
Yes.
Stop it.
Yes.
Lean into the fear. Lean into being alone. It's fine. It's part of growth. It's love. Lean into self.
When I was single and shifted into, okay, I'm ready for my husband to come find me and get me, I would tell myself, with any guy that kind of played around with me, I was like, oh, well, I'm not going to let you stop me from getting my husband. And when I would say that, it would shift everything, because I would be like, oh, he's trying to make sure I don't get my husband. So I would be like, no, you're not going to waste my time, because I need for my husband to be able to show up, see me, court me, take me out, give me the princess treatment that I deserve. And I'm not going to get it if I keep letting you waste my time and attention. So it made it really easy to let those people go when I got really focused on the goal that I really wanted for myself.
Okay. And then I know we can continue to talk so much, but I want to kind of conclude on this topic. There's a lot of people in relationships, in marriages, or not in marriages yet. And they either want to have, one wants to have a child, the other doesn't want to. One wants to work or leave their job, the other doesn't want to. There is a definite disconnect in wants.
Yeah.
One wants to get married, the other doesn't. They've been dating 8 years or even 3.
Okay. Yeah, I'm like, girl, no, wait a minute. That's all.
You know what I mean? I'm just, whatever it is for you. Whatever they deem too long is too long for them. That's them. What then? What do we do with that?
Yeah. I mean, if you get to a deal breaker situation, an absolute deal breaker, then you have to trust that it's a deal breaker for a reason. And you may need to let that relationship go in order to find the thing that you truly want to fit. We do get to those places in relationship where it's just not going to work, and we have to accept that. But one of the mindset things that I always practice, I always tell my diamonds, I say it to myself multiple times a week, is there's always more love. There's always more love out there. If you're open to it, it will always find you. It's always going to find me.
Always.
Right? So whether that's romantic love or friendship loves, you should say it and vibrate at the intention behind it that you want for yourself. But I even feel like in a marriage, it's important to hold on to there's always more love, right? Knock on wood, my marriage is great. We're happy, all those things. But I already know, like, life throws us curveballs, all these things. I already know, like, it doesn't matter. There's always more love, you know? So even in a relationship where you care about each other and all those things, feel okay with if you have to let it go, you can let it go. But the great thing about like when we let things go, we open our hands and that means we can receive something.
I mean, you guys, she's saying everything I say in a different way. Okay. Same thing though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then one more thing, you got me thinking about it. Chivalry.
It's not dead.
Oh, but I'm the woman and I don't need a man to open the door for me and I can do it myself. I don't even need a man.
Okay, well, here's the thing. You never want to train a man to be a worse version of himself. My mama taught me that, okay? she said her mama taught her that because sometimes women do this thing where we're like, I don't even like flowers. Let him get you flowers. Let him get you flowers. Let him open the door. Let him do all those things because those are all acts of love, care, and consideration. And you don't want to train someone to be less giving, less considerate.
No.
Right? So just appreciate it for what it is. Even if it doesn't ring all of your bells, it's not about what you need. It's about this is a good characteristic about this person. And you should want that. You should encourage that. So when you do all of this, I don't need anybody. I don't need that over independence. Baby, that's a trauma response. You need to figure out what that's about.
But I'm a feminist.
Okay.
That's a whole other podcast we could talk about, but don't confuse your political stances and your beliefs in feminism, etc.
Yes.
Don't confuse that with your ability to connect.
Absolutely.
And what a healthy relationship you deserve.
Yes. And I have a lot of these things because I work with successful women, right? And I always say, like, do not martyr yourself for a cause. Don't martyr yourself for a cause because people are like, oh, well, I don't like this about these people. This, I'm like, but ultimately in your relationship, it's going to be person to person. It's not going to be some political concept. You're not going to be doing a march for rights in your house. You're going to be talking to your partner, right, who you love and connect with and depend on, and they're going to show up for you. So you want to make sure that you're not like embedding all of these supercharged things into your dating life because, again, it's very adversarial to go about your dating life and like, this is what I don't want. This is what I don't want. This is what I don't want. Yeah. Okay, but what do you want? You can't get what you want if you don't even know it. If all a person can tell me is what they don't want, I don't have any clue of what you want, so I can't send it to you.
Wow. Okay, and then we've been talking a lot about heterosexual relationships, but all of these concepts are applicable whether you are gay, bisexual, heterosexual, asexual. I don't fucking care what you are. It all comes back to self.
Yes.
You deserve a healthy relationship with whomever you want.
Yes.
I don't care, but make sure it's the healthy one that you deserve.
Yes.
And you will only find that if you explore yourself, understand your love language, hire an advisor like a dating coach.
Get your boundaries
together.
together.
I'm handing you this stuff on a silver platter. Okay, so I'd love to thank you so much for being here. I'm going to connect everyone. I'll put all your stuff on the bottom, on the content, on the comment section. How can they find you?
You all can find me. Everything is at The Gathered Life because I'm going to get your life gathered. Okay, so you can find me on Instagram at The Gathered Life. That's all one word. On TikTok at Gathered Life. All the social medias. My website is thegatheredlife.com. Bree Jenkins, dating coach, therapist, life coach to the stars.
And style icon. Yeah. All right, Bree. Love you, friend. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.